A reading from the first book of Samuel. At the temple of Shiloh, the boy Samuel was ministering to the Lord under Eli. The word of the Lord was rare in those days. Visions were not widespread. At that time, Eli, whose eyesight had begun to grow dim so that he could not see, was lying down in his room. The lamp of God had not gone out yet, and Samuel was lying in the temple of the Lord, where the ark of God was. Then the Lord called, "Samuel, Samuel." And he said, "Here I am," and ran to Eli and said, "Here I am, for you called me." But he said, "I did not call. Lie down again." So Samuel went and lay down. The Lord called again, "Samuel." Samuel got up and went to Eli and said, "Here I am, for you called me." But he said, "I did not call, my son. Lie down again." Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord, and the word of the Lord had not yet been revealed to him. The Lord called Samuel again a third time, and he got up and went to Eli and said, "Here I am, for you called me." Then Eli perceived that the Lord was calling the boy. Therefore Eli said to Samuel, "Go lie down, and if he calls you, you shall say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.'" So Samuel went and lay down in his place. Now the Lord came and stood there, calling as before, "Samuel, Samuel." And Samuel said, "Speak, for your servant is listening." As Samuel grew up, the Lord was with him, and let none of his words fall to the ground. And all Israel from Daniel to Beersheba knew that Samuel was trustworthy prophet of the Lord. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Here I am, Lord, I come to do your will.
Here I am, Lord, I come to do your will.
I waited patiently for the Lord. He inclined for me and heard my cry. Happy are those who make the Lord their trust, who do not turn to the proud, to those who go astray after false gods.
Here I am, Lord, I come to do your will.
Sacrifice and offering you do not desire, but you have given me an open ear. Burnt offering and sin offering you have not required. Then I said, "Here I am."
Here I am, Lord, I come to do your will.
In the scroll of the book it is written of me, "I delight to do your will, O my God. Your law is within my heart."
Here I am, Lord, I come to do your will.
I have told the glad news of deliverance in the great congregation. See, I have no restraint on my lips, as you know, O Lord.
Here I am, Lord, I come to do your will. The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark.
Glory to you, Lord.
As soon as Jesus and the disciples left the synagogue, they entered the house of Simon and Andrew with James and John. Now Simon's mother-in-law was in bed with a fever, and they told him about her at once. Jesus came and took her by the hand and lifted her up. Then the fever left, and she began to serve them. That evening at sundown, they brought to Jesus all who were sick or possessed with demons. And the whole city was gathered around the door, and he cured many who were sick with various diseases and cast out many demons. And he would not permit the demons to speak because they knew him. In the morning, while it was still very dark, Jesus got up and went out to a deserted place, and there he prayed. And Simon and his companions hunted for him. When they found him, they said to him, "Everyone's searching for you." Jesus answered, "Let us go on to the neighboring towns, so that I may proclaim the message there also, for that is what I came out to do." And Jesus went throughout Galilee, proclaiming the message in their synagogues and casting out demons. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
It was wonderful growing up. My mom, I remember, got us two things for my brother and I to keep in our rooms. One was a picture of the boy Samuel being called that we heard about today in our first reading. And another was a Bible verse from 2 Timothy. And I still remember it today. Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young. And then it goes on to say that you need to set an example for the believers. But it was this beautiful idea that my mom told me from very early childhood that I was chosen, I was called by God, not in this sort of arrogant way, but that each of our kids, as we educate them, that we need to let them know this dignity, this wonderful thing that they've all been called, they've all been chosen, and all of us, since we were little, have been chosen by God and called to be his prophets. After all, that's what we say as Catholics, that when we're baptized, we become priests, we connect people to God. We become prophets. We proclaim God's word, just like Samuel did in his time. And also we become kings or queens, as St. Bede says, the church father. Not that we're sort of lording it over other people, but true leaders, what true leaders do, of course, is serve. And it was beautiful to have these on the wall, this Bible verse and the picture of the boy Samuel, because it reminded me when everything got tough, when things were difficult, when I got made fun of at school because I was too religious or I went to church too much, right? That no, I was called by God. I have a special mission to help out those kids in the playground that don't have any friends, to go and tell all my friends about Jesus. And so a very simple message as we continue to remember Epiphany today, that the wise men appeared to Jesus, and that in the same way as we continue through this time of Epiphany too, as we enter into ordinary time, we grow up to be a little bit more like Jesus, just like the color green symbolizes. May we remember that we were all chosen, we're all called. Let's tell kids their wonderful dignity in that way too, and remind them that just like Samuel, they are priests, prophets, and kings, even in a stronger way than Samuel, and not to let anyone look down on them because they're young, but to set an example for all the believers in speech and to go out in the world and go and change it.